thought I'd record a Warbond review after stream, so here it is. I'm going to do the format a little bit differently than I did the last time, where I basically just said, oh, this Warbond looks pretty cool, and I haven't tested anything yet. The difference is with this and what I have now is I've max leveled the sensor, which is the gun I'm using in the footage you're seeing from yesterday's stream, and I've unlocked everything in this Warbond. So, what are my reviews in it? Well, I'm going to go through every page, 1, 2, and 3, and then I'll give my final take at the end of it. So, let's get started. So, as some of you might be able to know, I was streaming this Warbond, well, yesterday, as of making this video. And on page 1, you have the R72 sensor, the marksman rifle I've mentioned previously, the P35 Reeducator, which is a sort of toxic pistol thing that you might see me using in this footage later on, but I'm not fully sure. And the Shadow Paragon light armor, so I'm gonna hold my tongue on the reduced signature passive for now, because I'm not really a big fan of the light armor, but I will talk about the two weapons that are here. The sensor, they did make a couple changes to suppressed weapons, to where now, as you might be able to tell in some parts of this footage, I'm able to shoot enemies in front of other enemies, kill them in front of their own patrols, and they don't bat an eye. Which I think is absolutely insane and a must-have change, because when they were introduced in the Halo Warbond, the first suppressed weapons, they didn't really work for whatever reason. The suppressors just weren't suppressed, which was a pretty big oversight by Arrowhead, but now they're finally here, and stealth is now better than ever. About the Reeducator, I didn't really get to test this one as much, but from what I've seen, it shoots a dart of gas at people. I don't think it has any armor penetrating, but I think it penetrates everything that can be affected by gas. Because I've been shooting Hulks and Chargers and, well, not Bile Titans. It can't stun Bile Titans. It's not as good as the Spear Gun for something like that. But if you want enemies to get off your back, it's a pretty good option for something like that. Next, on page 2, we have the AR-59 suppressor, which is a light armor pen suppressed assault rifle, which you're seeing me use in this clip against the bugs. And the the Null Cipher medium armor, as well as a couple other cosmetics. I'm gonna talk about the suppressor first before I get into the armor set. But the suppressor, it's not bad. It's actually kind of okay. My main issue with the suppressor, as you'll probably see in the footage here, its ammo economy isn't really that good. You can get a drum mag for it though, which is pretty good, and make a couple of changes to where it has a bit more stability in the recoil game. But other than that, this one fills kind of a bit of a niche kind of role. Granted, I only use this against the bugs. I didn't even try running this against the bots, which I'll probably try later on. So, not the worst, but pretty solid overall. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The medium armor with reduced signature passive. As you might be able to illustrate several times in this footage, there are times where the enemies just forget you. Like, there's no other way I can put it. You just turn into a ghost. It's like they know you're there, but they either can't find you or they just don't see you. I was kind of predicting of this when I first saw this Warbond leaked all the time ago, and I kind of knew that, yeah, this is going to be one of the best armor passes in the game. And it still holds up here. As you can see in the footage, I'm using the Re-Educator here to distract the bugs. And yeah, they get distracted, they attack randomly, and they just forget. They just forget you're even there. It's truly incredible. Now we get to the final page of the Warbond, which has, of course, the Redacted name title, the Concealed Insertion Booster, the BMD C4 pack, and the TM1 Lure Mine. So I'm gonna start with the one that was the honestly biggest disappointment for me. The C4. I don't know why I thought it would be better than how it performs, but feels nice that we have shaped charges, but at the same time, it's kind of limiting in a way. I knew it would be a backpack weapon. It's okay. That's fine. I can deal with it. I think the detonation mechanism should be a bit different. I think you should be able to hold press the backpack button so that way you can detonate them all at once instead of having a charger. Not a charger, a remote. But still, glad we got shaped charges. People are already using them like they did in Battlefield 1 and other games that have shaped charges, so just better grenades. Which I guess fits in with the next option here, the TM1 Lure Mine. If Niche had a face, this would be plastered all over it. This is probably one of the most niche items of the whole Warbond, in my opinion. I only used it against bots and bugs, and to be honest, it's not very good. For something that sacrifices the anti-tank damage of thermites and the crowd control of incendiary and gas grenades, you're really off with better options. And then for the last two smoke-related options, you have the Concealed Insertion Booster, and then the grenade I actually almost forgot about, the Impact Smokes. So, starting off with the Concealed Insertion Booster, I think this fits in the same vein as all the other Hellpod boosters, which, unfortunately, the box was opened when they added Firebomb Hellpods into the game. Then you got Force of Law, which added the Stun Hellpod, which, again, isn't really good. Now we have this. And from my testing of it, I'm gonna be honest, it's the best Hellpod booster that we have so far. Which isn't really saying much. It's like saying you'd rather have Durian over, you know, other things. Having something that's okay versus really good. So, I guess we'll have to settle for that. Impact Smokes, though. Again, it's the same problem of the Lure Mine. Thermites and all the other crowd control grenades are just tend to be better. But if you are playing for stealth, I will admit, the running this with the C4 pack ironically kind of blends well together. But you're still missing out on the consistent anti-tank and consistent crowd control, so if you want to take that risk, go ahead. I see more stealth people running Impact Smokes, so it's not all bad. So, big question. How would I rank this Warbond when you compare it to all the rest? I'd say it's in the same vein as Python Commandos. It doesn't really have anything that stands out or breaks the game. Well, with the exception of the reduced signature armor, which completely breaks bots, but that's beside the point. It's all items that aren't really too overpowered, but balanced enough to where they feel fun to still use. I do still think that C4 should get a buff. I'm not sure what, but I think it will get a buff eventually, and maybe a buff to the suppressor to make it more consistent with other rifles. I don't really know. I'm not a balancing person. I tend to let other people do that. So, yeah, that's my review. I'd probably put it low A, maybe high B, just like I did with Python Commandos, I think. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. Something real quick before I go. I'm going back to 1 video a week formats. That way I can make more content that feels fleshed out and better. I got tired of crunching weapon analysis videos. Those aren't gone though. That one guy who said weapon analysis has been ended, it's not. I do have plans for that. It is gonna come back. I'm just not sure when. Yeah. That's gonna be all.